You want me to Uber home? After surgery? That's what my son said, just before he hung up. Funny thing is, a $4.2 million check changes how people see you real quick. Especially the people who left you outside a hospital like lost luggage. But let's rewind. North River Regional Medical. Thursday night, 11 p.m. I'd just been wheeled out after hernia surgery. Stitches in my stomach, duffel bag in my lap, paperwork in hand. The nurse who discharged me was nice enough. Young, a little too cheerful, but once she confirmed I wasn't dying on the curb, she went back inside. The doors slid shut behind her with a soft hiss. And then I stood there, alone. Again. I texted my son, Derek, twice. Called once. Left a voicemail. He knew what time I was getting out. We'd talked about it all week. My phone buzzed. Derek. Hey Dad. Amanda's already in bed, and I'm wiped. Just Uber. It's no big deal. No big deal. I just stared at the screen. He didn't even call. Didn't even care enough to hear my voice. And Amanda? Not even a message. She'd posted a story on Instagram 15 minutes earlier. Some minimalist plate of salmon and lentils with the caption, "Dinner and boundaries. Learn to say no." So that's what they were calling it now. Boundaries. Not abandoning your father after surgery. Boundaries. I hit call anyway. He picked up. Dad? What now? What now? I'm standing outside the hospital in a paper-thin jacket, and it's 48 degrees. He sighed loud. You're not dying. Don't be dramatic. You have Uber. Use it. Then, in the background, I heard Amanda laugh and say something like, tell him he's a grown man, not a toddler. He didn't mute. He didn't even lower his voice. He just said, Dad, it's not that deep. You'll figure it out, and hung up. I didn't throw my phone. I didn't yell. I just sat down on the cold cement bench outside the hospital doors and stared at the yellow glow of the vending machine. A janitor passed by with a cart, glanced at me, then looked away. A nurse peeked through the glass once, then disappeared. A few minutes later, a woman helped her elderly father into a Toyota Corolla, slow, gentle, loving. She adjusted his seatbelt like it was made of glass. Drove off into the dark. I sat there until my hands went numb. Then I ordered an Uber. The guy who picked me up had one AirPod in and was listening to a podcast about crypto. Didn't say more than 3 words the entire ride. But I did notice him glance at me once in the mirror, maybe wondering what kind of man gets left outside a hospital by his own family. My name's Ray, by the way. I'm 59. I've lived in the same one-story ranch outside Lincoln County for 32 years. Worked at the paper mill up until I took the early retirement package 3 years ago. Paid off the house. Still mow my own lawn. I'm not rich, but I've always been dependable. Showed up. Paid my bills. Raised Derek on my own for a while after his mother walked out in '99. Helped him buy his first car. Co-signed on their mortgage when Amanda's credit didn't cut it. Gave them $9,000 for IVF, even though they never used it and never paid it back. I never asked for much in return, but I guess even a ride home after surgery was asking too much. The next morning, Amanda posted a reel from their living room. Latte art and jazz music. Self-care mornings. Protect your peace. My peace was 2 crushed saltines and a glass of warm tap water. I didn't even have the strength to cook yet. Derek texted that afternoon. How you holding up? I didn't answer. The truth? I wasn't angry yet. Not really. I was just empty. Like something had been unplugged. You don't expect your own kid to humiliate you like that. Not after everything you've done. Not when you're barely out of anesthesia and your blood pressure is still double what it should be. But he did. And Amanda? Not a word. Not even a like on my recovery post from earlier that week. I started noticing things differently after that. Like how quiet my phone had gotten. No check-ins. No calls. Just Amanda tagging Derek in memes about toxic family members. Just Derek liking a post about putting yourself first. I didn't say anything. Didn't call. Didn't explain. I just stopped. Stopped texting. Stopped liking their posts. Stopped caring about their opinions. Deleted the family calendar app. Turned off my phone for 2 days straight. Cleaned out the guest room that was supposed to be for the grandchild they never had. It felt peaceful. A week passed. Then one night, I was watching the 6 o'clock news, sipping a can of ginger ale, when the local anchor grinned and said, And finally tonight, someone in Lincoln County is $4.2 million richer after a stunning win at North River Casino. They cut to a man holding a giant check, grinning awkwardly. Me, right there on screen. The camera panned over. The host was smiling. People were clapping. I looked like a man who had everything. But only I knew just how alone I'd felt 5 days earlier on that hospital curb. My phone buzzed. Derek, Dad? Just saw you on TV. What is happening? Amanda, OMG, why didn't you tell us? We were literally just talking about taking you out for dinner. Calls, texts, emails, comments on old Facebook posts. Suddenly, I was popular again. But here's the thing. I don't think they ever expected to see me again, let alone on TV, holding that kind of check. The morning after that news segment aired, I rolled over in bed and saw my phone blinking like a Christmas tree left on overnight. 36 unread messages, 5 missed calls from Derek, 2 from Amanda, and 1 from a number I didn't recognize but had a hunch was Amanda's mother, the same woman who once refused to shake my hand at Thanksgiving but had always managed to heart every photo I ever posted about Derek's baseball games or family dinners. I didn't open a single message. I didn't even skim them. I just powered the phone off, placed it face down on my nightstand, and pulled the comforter over my shoulder like I had the day off and nowhere in the world to be. My stitches were still sore, my back was tight from lying on it too long, and the light outside the window was just soft enough to lull me back to sleep. But this time, the quiet in the room didn't feel like loneliness. It felt like I was finally the one who'd walked away, without saying goodbye, without apologizing for it, and without waiting for permission. By noon, my voicemail had filled up. The ringtones and alerts returned as soon as I powered my phone back on to check my bank balance. I didn't even look at the new voicemails. Just saw a mailbox full flash across the screen and left it at that. Around 3 p.m., I got a knock at the door. It wasn't loud or aggressive, more like the kind of knock you give when you're trying to act casual but still expect someone to answer. I didn't move from my recliner. I just pulled up the porch camera feed on the tablet and watched Derek standing there in a Patagonia vest and boat shoes, holding one of those cardboard cup carriers from Starbucks like he'd just dropped by to shoot the breeze, like this was some regular Sunday visit between his son and his old man. He knocked again, then once more. Finally, he leaned in and looked directly at the camera and said, "Dad, I just want to talk. You've been acting really weird, and, come on, I'm trying here." Then he stood there in silence for a second, checked his phone like he was waiting for a reply that would never come, and added, "It's not like we left you on the street. You had options." It was that line, "You had options," that landed the hardest. That's when the haze of frustration finally lifted and I saw the whole thing with perfect clarity. That boy didn't see anything wrong with what he'd done. To him, telling a recovering father to order an Uber after surgery wasn't cruel, it was pragmatic. I wasn't bleeding. I wasn't dying. So in his mind, it wasn't abandonment. It was logistics. That wasn't neglect. It was boundaries. And entitled people don't apologize for putting themselves first. They only start circling back when they see something that smells like opportunity. I didn't open the door. I didn't touch the coffee. Later that week, Derek posted a photo of him and Amanda at some upscale brunch spot in Asheville. They were grinning across the table from a chalkboard wall that said, "Thankful, grateful, blessed." Amanda had on a sun hat indoors, and Derek had his arm around her like they were posing for a tourism ad. The caption said something vague like, "Learning to recenter in chaotic times." There was a video attached too. Amanda was swirling her mimosa and giggling, and at one point, she turned to the camera and said, "I told him, if we win the lottery, we're getting a beach house and a new spine for your dad, because he's clearly acting ancient." I watched the clip 3 times. Then I closed the app, unplugged the router from the wall, walked outside to the back patio with a thermos of black coffee and a yellow legal pad, and sat in the same folding chair I'd ignored for years. The sun was low, the air was crisp, and the neighbor's dog was barking at something in the distance I couldn't see. I started writing names down. Not a revenge list. Not yet. Just a list of people I hadn't spoken to in a long time. Old coworkers, high school friends I'd lost track of, The guy who used to run poker nights in his garage until his wife caught him and made him switch to scripture study. I didn't have any plan to reach out. I just liked the idea of remembering people who once mattered. It felt more productive than refreshing Amanda's feed to see what variation of healing journey she was pretending to be on. That week, I took down every framed photo of Derek and Amanda from the hallway wall. The engagement party. The baby shower that never led anywhere. The housewarming I funded with a second mortgage I never told them I took. I replaced them with old Polaroids from a solo fishing trip I'd taken to Montana back in 2003, a few months after my divorce finalized. I'd kept those photos in a shoebox under the stairs all these years. I'd never framed them because I never thought anyone would care to see them. But I realized something as I hung the last one near the door. Those were the only pictures where I looked at peace. That same day, I listed my old Ford F-150 on a classified site. A man named Luis came by the next afternoon, asked a few basic questions, and handed me cash on the spot. Said he needed a reliable truck for his upholstery business. I gave him an extra set of keys and told him to take care of her. Then I bought a black SUV from a dealership in the next county over. Not flashy, not cheap, just unmemorable. Enough that no one in town would recognize it parked outside a lawyer's office or a new cafe. After that, I shut down my Facebook. Deleted the dusty old Twitter account I hadn't touched since 2015. Turned off iCloud backup. Told no one. 2 days later, Amanda sent me a message that said, "Hope you're okay. Would love to grab coffee soon. Just talk. Clear the air." I didn't respond. 1 hour later, I got another message, this time from her business account. She'd just launched a new coaching program for intergenerational trauma healing and wanted to offer me a free session. The tagline said, "Helping men rewrite their story and release their anger." I closed the email and poured another cup of coffee. That was the moment I realized Amanda didn't want to clear the air. She wanted to spin it. The only person I spoke to that week was my accountant. I told him I wanted a few things set up, quietly. No big show. No unnecessary paperwork trail. He didn't ask questions. Just said, "The trust will be in place by Friday. The LLC too. You'll be fully protected and out of reach by Monday." I thanked him, hung up, and jotted one more name onto my legal pad. Rita Wexler. Local estate attorney. Semi-retired. Handled the probate case for my neighbor Jack when his kids ghosted him. She still remembered me. We met at a diner outside town. She wore a giant sun hat and ordered black coffee with honey. Said the words, "full discretion," 3 times without me asking. I left with a folder full of paperwork and a calmness I hadn't felt in weeks. That weekend, Derek came by again. This time, Amanda was with him. I saw them through the curtain before they rang the bell. Each of them carried a gift bag from Target, the kind with gold foil and pastel ribbons. Amanda had on huge sunglasses and a strained smile. Derek looked like a teenager rehearsing a speech he didn't believe in. They rang the bell twice. Waited. Amanda stepped back and called out, "Ray, seriously. You're scaring people. We just want to talk." Her voice cracked a little when she said people. I could tell she meant other people, her friends, maybe her followers. "You've been acting weird ever since the news thing. If this is about that ride." Derek cut her off. "Look, we're sorry, okay? We didn't mean to, we weren't trying to leave you. We thought you'd be fine. We thought you'd laugh it off." Amanda chimed in again. "We were tired. It wasn't personal. And you've always been the strong one. We figured you'd bounce back like always." I didn't move. Eventually, they left the bags on the porch. Inside were some energy bars, a novelty hoodie that said, "World's Best Grandpa," and a paperback copy of the 4 Agreements with a sticky note on the cover that said, "Hope this helps you heal." That night, I shredded the entire bag. By Monday, I turned my phone back on. I responded to messages from 2 old coworkers who'd seen the news clip. One of them joked, "Guess we'll be calling you Mr. Millions now." I replied, "Always preferred Ray." I went back to walking in the mornings, but now I took routes that didn't pass Derek's house. Started buying groceries 2 towns over. Found a gym that took cash and didn't ask for ID. The guy at the desk just nodded and said, "Weights are in the back. AC strong. No contracts." I liked it immediately. One afternoon, I ran into Amanda's friend Heather at the bank. She did that fake surprised gasp and said, "Wow, Amanda said you were still recovering. That you hadn't really been yourself since the big win." I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Oh, I'm myself. Just not the version they're used to." She gave a half laugh, then added, "Well, Derek says you've been withdrawn. People are concerned." I smiled and said, "Let them be." She didn't know what to say after that. On the drive home, I realized the truth. They were never concerned when I sat alone outside a hospital, sore and half sedated, with a paper bag full of prescriptions and no ride home. They were only concerned when I went quiet, when I stopped playing the role, when I became unpredictable. But here's the thing. People like Derek and Amanda, they don't notice when you fade. They only notice when you stop orbiting them. They only panic when you become a question they don't know how to answer. I didn't show up to Amanda's birthday dinner, but I saw the video she posted later. Balloons, candles, Derek fumbling a toast about being grateful in uncertain times. At one point, Amanda raised her glass and said, "Everything happens for a reason." And sitting alone on my couch with the lights low and my new papers tucked away in a drawer, I agreed with her completely. Because now I had a reason. And I was just getting started. The site didn't just go down. It crashed live while Amanda was in the middle of a live stream Q&A, mid-sentence, answering a question about forgiveness and energetic debt. 1 second she was smiling into the ring light, half drunk on her own performance, and the next the comments froze. Then came the spinning wheel. Her voice clipped. The page disappeared. Viewers were kicked off with a 404 not found error, and within 5 minutes, the screenshots were everywhere. I didn't see it happen live, but I watched the screen recording someone posted on a gossip account 2 hours later. Paused it right on the frame where Amanda's smile slips into confusion. Her brow tightens. Her eyes dart off screen like she's signaling to Derek. It wasn't a tech glitch. The entire backend had been pulled offline. Every product, every course, every testimonial. The next morning, someone leaked a screenshot of an email she sent to her subscriber list in a panic. In it, she blamed a malicious actor for unauthorized access and said legal action was pending. But right below her email, someone posted a reply they got from PayPal. Account flagged for irregular invoice structures and possible false testimonials. Comments poured in. "You sold trauma healing sessions to a woman whose husband was actively dying. Why are you charging $4,000 for worksheets you copied off Pinterest?" The internet smelled blood. That was the public stumble. The private crack came 2 days later when Derek blew up during a pitch call. I wasn't there, but I didn't need to be. A former coworker from the mill now worked security at the same co-working space where Derek had taken over a glass-walled conference room. Said he saw him slam his laptop shut, curse out loud, and storm out mid-call. A client had pulled out, one of his bigger ones, from what I gathered, and the reason wasn't vague. Someone had forwarded them a copy of a 2019 proposal Derek had sent to another company, word for word identical. His unique strategy wasn't so unique. That same afternoon, the company scrubbed his photo from the leadership section of their website. The official story dropped the next day. Derek was stepping back from a client-facing role to reassess long-term alignment. I recognized the phrasing. It read like a template HR used for people they hoped would just go away without suing. Amanda tried to hold things together. She went live again, this time from her car, sunglasses on, voice shaky under the usual filters. "Some people just can't stand to see you rise," she said. "But you know what? We don't run from shadows." The video ended abruptly when someone commented, "You stole my money and blocked me when I asked for a refund." She didn't delete it fast enough. The comment got screenshot. The screenshot got reposted. That was when the sponsors started backing out. I watched her slowly lose grip, not by screaming, but by pretending she wasn't drowning. The lashes got heavier. The captions got more cryptic. "Burn it all down if you have to," she wrote one night under a black and white photo of a candle. Comments turned off. Meanwhile, I wasn't just watching anymore. I'd spent weeks laying breadcrumbs without leaving prints. A few quiet emails. A handful of burned DMs from accounts with no history. Not lies, just questions. Questions worded carefully enough to sound like concern. "Hey, I was thinking about signing up for Amanda's 12-week program, but I noticed a lot of the modules look identical to content from Rise and Realign Academy. Is she affiliated with them? A woman named Carla ran that academy. She wasn't affiliated, but she was very interested in the question. She had a lawyer. As for Derek, his spiral was more private, but just as visible if you knew where to look. After the company cut him loose, he started showing up in places that didn't fit. Small business meetups, coffee shop pitch circles. I saw him once, by accident, or maybe not, sitting alone at a networking brunch meant for early career entrepreneurs. He wasn't talking, just scrolling his phone, jaw tight. He didn't see me. I didn't make it easy. That afternoon, a friend of his reached out, one of those types who only ever text when they want something. Hey, is Derek doing okay? Amanda said he's taking some time to recenter, but someone said his accounts are frozen. Any truth to that? I replied with a simple, haven't spoken in a while, and let them fill in the blanks. The next 48 hours was when everything tipped. First came the email leak. One of Amanda's ex-clients, angry and vocal, posted an entire email thread where Amanda admitted she'd never finished her coaching certification, said it wasn't worth the structure, and that her real wisdom came from lived experience, not trauma theory. The email caught fire. A blogger picked it up. Then it hit YouTube. A compilation video went viral, Amanda contradicting herself across different live streams, giving conflicting advice, selling pain like it was perfume. That was when she disappeared offline entirely. No posts, no stories, no promos, just silence. But the loudest moment came from Derek. It was a voicemail. Midnight. Same day the video blew up. He sounded different. Not angry, not defensive, just tired in a way that settled into the bones. Dad, he said, I need to ask you something, and maybe it's crazy, but I don't know who else would even care this much. Someone's pulling things apart. Carefully, like they know where the seams are. Amanda's brand is done. My work is gone. We're getting calls from people we thought forgot about us. And I've had 3 lawyers recommend I go dark. Do you know anything? Did someone reach out to you? I'm not accusing you. I don't understand how it all unraveled this fast. He stopped. I waited. Then he said, if this is your way of getting back at us, if this is about the hospital thing, or the money, or not showing up, then just tell me. I don't care about the details. I just want to know if I should stop trying to fix it. There was a long pause. No background noise. No Amanda yelling from another room. Just breathing. Then, are you behind this? I didn't return the call. I just sat there in the kitchen, staring out the window while the voicemail replayed, watching a single moth slam itself over and over into the glass like it didn't understand why the light hurt now. That was the escalation. Amanda's public credibility gone. Derek's career in freefall. Their silence louder than anything they'd said to me in years. And I still hadn't touched the money. People assume revenge is about the moment someone begs or collapses, but that's not how it works. Not if you do it right. True revenge is realizing you've become the background radiation of someone's worst year, and they don't even know how to shield themselves from it. They just feel the sickness spreading and can't tell where it's coming from. They'll probably never know how many of those dominoes were nudged, not tripped. They'll think it was karma, or bad luck, or a cruel twist of timing. And maybe that's enough. Maybe they don't need to know. Maybe all that matters is that when I walk past the hallway mirror now, I don't see a man left at the hospital. I see someone who stopped apologizing for finally letting people feel the distance they built themselves. It all started unraveling faster than I thought it would. The first domino fell 3 weeks after I went quiet again, and then everything else collapsed like it had just been waiting for permission. Amanda's coaching platform sent her a final notice, access revoked. Her entire library of wellness videos and trauma alchemy programs got taken offline in under 6 hours. Clients didn't just lose access, they got emails with refund options. And every one of those emails asked them to fill out a reason for refund field. That field lit up like dry brush under a heat lamp. Within days, screenshots started circulating. A woman named Denise posted a message in her Facebook support group. Did anyone else get this email about Amanda? I thought I was the only one who paid $600 for that Vision Mastery workbook. and mine came with typos and 3 blank pages. One comment turned into 30, then 300. Another client posted a voicemail she'd saved, Amanda telling her, "I know what I'm doing. I'm certified in lived experience." That one went viral. The video was titled, "Life Coach Melts Down and Blames Clients for Wanting Receipts." Meanwhile, Derek's profile disappeared from every project he'd ever been associated with. No farewell post. No rebrand. Just scrubbed. Sponsors ghosted him. Clients stopped replying. One company posted a statement saying they were reviewing duplicated proposal materials brought to our attention. The statement didn't name Derek, but it didn't have to. A comment under it read, "This guy tried to sell me the same pitch in 2019. Word for word. Even the typo." His inbox flooded. Someone leaked a screenshot of a legal notice. "We regret to inform you that your contractor profile has been flagged for content duplication and suspended pending further review." Amanda tried to hold the line. She went live in her car again, this time with no filters, no music, and no branding behind her. Just the shaky video of someone trying to look calm while the floor creaked beneath her. She said, "I've always stood for transparency. And yes, I may have borrowed some frameworks, but I adapted them with love." That video got stitched 1,000 times. At one point someone commented, "You mean plagiarize them with pastel fonts?" And the likes broke 5 figures. Their phones blew up, not with fans or followers, but with demands, refunds, legal threats. Influencer watchdog accounts did side-by-sides of her content in 2 major coaching academies. Derek's name got tagged in threads about digital grifting. Amanda's following halved in a week, then halved again. And just when I thought they might go underground and ride it out, Amanda called. Not a text, not a DM, a full call. Voice trembling under the pressure of weeks of silence and collapse. I didn't answer the first time. I waited until the second call came in that night. This time I picked up. I stayed quiet. She didn't. "You did this," she said. No greeting, no build-up. Just raw breath and desperation. "I don't know how, but I know it was you. You're the only person who's quiet enough to be this loud." I didn't respond. Not right away. "Everything's falling apart," she continued. "My accounts. My name. Derek's entire career, torched. Clients are calling me a scam artist. People I trusted won't even return texts. And it's all been so precise." Her voice broke slightly. She tried to swallow it, but it slipped through. "You made us think you disappeared. You made us feel safe. Then you waited. Waited until we weren't paying attention." "I didn't do anything illegal," I said. She let out a short, bitter laugh. "You didn't have to. You knew where the soft spots were." "I knew where to look," I replied. "That's not the same as knowing where to cut." "You planned this," she said, voice dropping to something more fragile than anything I'd ever heard from her. "Derek's still trying to fix it. Still thinks he can salvage the name. I told him we should just move. Start over. But he keeps saying he can feel you behind it. Like a shadow he can't shake." I waited. Then I said the only thing she hadn't expected. "You should have picked me up that night." Silence stretched. I was groggy, bandaged, dizzy, sitting under a flickering parking lot light with nobody coming. My son, my daughter-in-law. No ride. Just a discharged patient with a hospital bracelet and 2 voicemails sent straight to voicemail. Her voice was a whisper now. "We thought you were okay. You thought I'd get over it," I said. "Because that's what I always did. Because I was convenient when you needed help and invisible when you didn't." She didn't argue. Because there was nothing left to defend. I ended the call without saying goodbye. That night, I pulled out the folder I'd been keeping locked in the fireproof cabinet in the guest room. Inside were copies of every email I'd sent from anonymous addresses, templates tailored to sound concerned, not accusatory. Screenshots of public testimonials she'd pulled from fake accounts. Side-by-side images of Derek's pitch decks from 5 years apart, shared with one compliance officer who asked the right questions. Even the PayPal complaints, I hadn't filed them, but I'd helped people find where to submit them. People just needed direction. I gave them a map. I never hacked anything. I never lied. I just reminded people what was already in their inbox. Some call that petty. I call it clarity. The final move wasn't public. It came in a plain white envelope. A notice sent from a community foundation Amanda once claimed to be an ambassador for, one that she'd posted selfies about, but never actually supported. The foundation thanked her for her past involvement, then politely asked that she no longer use their name in promotional materials. They cited recent concerns regarding brand integrity. That letter got posted by a former client on Instagram with the caption, "The house of cards is collapsing." I watched it all from a distance. Still went on morning walks. Still stopped for coffee at the quiet diner 2 towns over. Still paid in cash. A week later, Derek showed up at my house. Just him. No Amanda. No coffee carrier. No boat shoes. He stood there on my porch with nothing in his hands. No apology rehearsed. No gifts. Just this look, like he'd been running from something and only just now realized where the trail started. He didn't knock. He didn't say anything. He just looked at the doorbell camera and said, "I think I finally understand what I did." Then he turned and walked away. I didn't follow. Didn't need to. By the time Amanda and Derek realized I'd never touched the money, not a dollar of the casino win went to me personally, they started looking for the foundation I created. Turns out, they couldn't find it. Because the name wasn't listed under Ray's trust or my surname or even under my LLC. It was under a donor-advised fund. Filed through the accountant I called the day after I got home from surgery. Anonymous. Quiet. Legally untraceable by people who didn't know where to look. That's what made it clean. And as far as they know, I vanished. But here's the thing about people who leave you on a curb like a burden. They assume you'll stay exactly where they dropped you. They never expect to see you again. And they certainly don't expect to have to look over their shoulder in every comment thread, every sponsorship renewal, every new deal, wondering if the next voice, the next review, the next subtle nudge is just life catching up. Or if it's me. They don't know. They'll never be sure. And I like it that way. Because they left me in the dark that night. And now? Now they can't scroll their phones without tripping over my shadow.